The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the conference changes. We're going to hear from some coaches from those conference moves. But first, before we get started, I want to welcome in Allen Hilliard from Allen Hilliard Sports. Allen, how are you?
I am doing good today. It was a very nice day today for once.
It is. Here it is, Dateline, August 20th, 2024. We're 3 days away from jamborees on the football side of it, but you've also got jamborees in soccer and volleyball and other sports as well. And we're getting ready to kick those off. But tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on some of the changes.
There is definitely some changes, especially in Southwest Missouri. At least two conferences nearly disbanded and, formed like 4 or 5 other conferences out of them, it seems like.
Yeah, when you look at the Ozark Conference kind of going away, and they had their troubles, a year ago with lawsuits and things like that with related, and we won't revisit those things, but kind of led the beginning of the end. And, talking with Lebanon head football coach Will Christian earlier last week, talked about it was a very quick decision. I mean, it was maybe a 2-month transformation where everything kind of came to an head in a couple of months. And usually those things, when you talk about new conferences, it takes maybe a year, maybe 2 years to get those in the books. But as you look at the COC expanding now to an East Division and a West Division, you've got Webb City and the Osho, Carthage, Joplin, Republic, Willard, and Parkview in the West Division, although Parkview will not participate in the football side of the conference, but in all other sports. And on the East side, some of the additions, you've got Glendale and Kickapoo, which were added. You've got Lebanon and Waynesville also added out of the Ozark Conference. So there's 4 of the schools from the Ozark Conference making that jump, along with Nixa and Ozark, and then Central, who also not play a football schedule in the COC. And, maybe one of the best football conferences in the state got a little bit tougher as you look at, the history there with Webb City, Carthage, Joplin. Republic went to the state championship a year ago. Nix is a powerhouse. Ozark's getting better. Lebanon outstanding as well. What are your thoughts just on that new Central Ozark Conference?
I mean, just looking at some of the, as you said, powerhouses here, Joplin, just on one side of it, Republic, Webb City, and then on the other side, Nixa, Lebanon, Kickapoo, Glendale, and really even Ozark at times. Just really one of the just dominating powerhouses for football in Southwest Missouri.
And maybe some of the best facilities in the state with regards to conference-wide. When you look at the facility that Nixa has, which is maybe second to none, Ozark's facility is relatively new. Webb City is always making changes to their facility as well. And it's going to change a lot of the scheduling. You're going to see some teams that in the past have had rivalry games for a number of years, and a lot of that's going to come to an end.
Well, just talking to Coach Barkley today and interviewing him, looking on the wall, looking at, Waynesville versus Rolla in 1959, the very first kickoff of Tiger football. And that might happen in the near future again. It's kind of like Kansas, separating basically.
And you mentioned Waynesville, and we have a clip here that you were able to catch up with the Waynesville soccer coach earlier this week, and we're going to step away. We'll play that right after just a real short commercial from Chevrolet. And then you'll hear from Waynesville soccer coach after that Chevy commercial.
When you drive a Chevy, it's time for a fresh approach and a new perspective. And find the Chevy that's right for you. Find new experiences, find new roads. Chevrolet.
The second preview we've done this year, and this is Waynesville Tiger Soccer. So we're here with head coach here. You want to introduce yourself and how many years you've been here?
Coach Thornburg. I've been coaching Waynesville High School soccer since 2008 as an assistant. Took over the program 2 years ago. This will be my third season as head coach with the program. So been a while. Been a long time.
All right, Coach. And then last year you had a very good season there. Ended a little early in districts, but started out, I believe, took a while to get that first loss there, and really still had a good season to close out the year. And going into districts down in, I believe it was Ozark and schools from that area. But what are you kind of looking for this year, since most of those schools are now in your new conference?
Yeah, so the team last year had a lot of experience. A lot of those guys have been playing 4 years on varsity, and so they were a really athletic group and pretty technical. So we could play at a really high level and compete with some of the best schools in the Southwest Missouri region. Tough draw in our district. We just had a lot of good teams, and any one of those teams could have easily won districts. And so unfortunately we got matched up against Kickapoo. We have yet to beat them as a program, so they're our Achilles heel apparently. So our new conference is really difficult. It's all those same schools plus Nixa, plus Carthage, Joplin, Neosho, Webb City. All those schools have really good long traditions of winning, strong programs, technical players. I think we'll match up well. We'll be competitive. We'll be a vastly different looking team. I think we'll be really hardworking. We're not quite as big or as technical, but I think our fight as far as the program and how we play should put us in a real good spot to be competitive in all our games.
All right, and where do you start out the season? Where's the Jamboree this year?
Jamboree is in Washington, Missouri. I don't remember the exact date on that one. It seems to always change, and the last couple of years we haven't done it because of the heat. So hopefully we're able to get our Jamboree in this year. Our schedule, first part of the schedule of the year, our first game right now is scheduled against Poplar Bluff on September 12th, but that looks like there may be an opportunity to add a game before then too. So we're still working on some stuff. So adding a few more games before we kick off.
All right, and who are some of the returning players from last year that are going to make an impact, and who may be some of the new players that you're seeing here, maybe JV or some of the move-ins?
Yeah, so we got lots of returners. We got a fairly good senior group coming back. Right now, Say Fowler and Tristan Borner, two seniors that are going to be college bound. Both are strong D1 looking recruits right now. Tristan Borner's in goal, standout in goal, one of the best goalies we've had in program history. Say Fowler, again, one of the best players technically that I've ever seen in our program's history. Both are incredible players that we'll kind of really build around. Fortunately, one being in goal will help us build out of the back defensively. The other one traditionally plays as a midfielder, and so he'll really kind of be the catalyst for organizing the team and helping us in transition, whether it's defensive or offensive transition. So both are really strong players. We've got again, fairly large group of experienced players from last year. I expect lots of things from some of the juniors who were on the team that are moving up. Ace Long looks really good right now. He and Tristan Borner are both going to be kicking for the field goal team with Waynesville football program. But they both are leaders character-wise and physically. Like they look really good and look like they'll contribute. We have a new move-in by the name of Alex, who looks really good right now. Another one, there's a lot of guys. I hate to single out any one, but there's a lot of guys that I'm excited about. Will Figueroa, who's been with us, and he'll be a senior. He's looking really strong right now. We got some juniors, Avery Paget, Caden Carter. They were with us last year. They're looking strong. They're really matured. I think they'll really help contribute to our overall success this season.
All right, and then looking ahead, I'm assuming you're probably going to be the Class 4 or 5 or whatever the highest class soccer is. And
yeah,
I don't know if they added a 5th one to that yet. They probably should one of these years, but
they're still filling out Class 1. We're Class 4 is our highest class, but yeah, we're toughest schools In the Southwest Missouri Conference, our district is going to probably be identical to what it was last year, which was Nick's Glendale, Kickapoo,
Ozark, I think.
Ozark won it last year. Glendale won it the year before. So all those schools are always competing. They're always in it for conference titles. So it's going to be a tough competitive season, but we're excited about what we have, and I fully expect us to have a successful year again.
All right. I appreciate it, Coach, and we will see you throughout. We do have a planned broadcast, a couple of them hopefully in the end of the year. I believe there's some plans to make that happen.
Awesome.
So
we'll look forward to it. Thank you for your
all right,
coverage.
Thank you. All right, bye.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network. Real nice job there, Allen, catching up with Coach Thornburg there at Waynesville, and very tough district. You know, Ozark got all the way to the state, or no, they got to the quarterfinals and lost to the number one ranked team in the country in Rockhurst by 1 goal. Got to hear an interview with Matt Darby, and we talked a little bit about it on Where They Now Wednesday interview with Kent Mueller from Playing on Sports. And, you know, as you mentioned, the East and West divisions, and I believe you've got maybe some of the enrollments pulled up there for the new COC members.
I do here, and just for numbers itself, the East has 5 Class 6 schools and 2 Class 5 schools in it, while the West has 4 Class 6 schools and 3 Class 5 schools. And keep in mind, these enrollment numbers are for 3 grades due to the way MSHSAA is breaking things up now. But the biggest school here appears to be Joplin with 1,664. Now you figure you need to add another 400 or so to that for graduation. And the smallest school is just over 1,000 with Webb City, who is no slouch in most of the sports. Well, for example, their Little League team nearly went to the World Series this year. And they're just 1,011.
Yeah, and that's, as you mentioned, that's 3 grades. It's 9, 10, and 11. They do not count the senior class enrollments when they do that. And, in fact, they've not come out with the numbers for the 24-25 season yet because they're wanting to make sure who's playing sports. Down into the lower classes, they were going to get into probably that Friday of this Friday, maybe when those classifications come out in all sports. But certainly looking forward to that on the COC side. And another conference that also changed, well, actually, it's a new conference. I think it's a new conference, the Central Missouri Activities Conference, which you would have greater detail about, but it contains Columbia Battle. Camdenton made the move there. Capital Cities, Helias Catholic, Columbia Hickman, Jeff City, Rockbridge, and Smith Cotton. Camdenton and Lebanon, that's a rivalry that you might see in other sports, but you won't see in football for some time now.
Nope, that's another one of those. That's called the Highway 5 rivalry, and really one of those things we kind of lost due to the changes in the conference enrollments there. But that, strong conference coming out of that. Jefferson City region alone, you add Blair Oaks to the mix out of Jefferson City, and just a strong city for football and basketball.
Very good. And, Hannibal has a game every year. They start off with Jeff City Helias, and got to visit with Jeff Geschwender, who's the head coach at Hannibal High School. Looking forward to that. And kind of got handed to him at the first game last year, and then came back and was much more competitive. And, of course, they've got a team that's probably going to challenge for a district championship, if not further, as well there with the Pirates out of Hannibal. But you also had an opportunity to catch up with the Camdenton football coach. Tell us a little bit about your interaction with Par Pitts.
Oh, Pitt's just a great guy there. I happened to be in Camdenton and had some things I had to do, but called him up on the phone and had a great interview with him. But he is really excited about joining the new conference. Again, another one of those with mostly big schools. Camdenton enrollment, just over 4, not big enough for 5A, but, some of the schools 6A in that conference, the CMAC that they're in.
Outstanding. We'll play that interview with Allen Hilliard Sports, and Allen got to catch up with Camdenton head football coach Par Pitts. We'll be back after this interview.
Allen Hilliard Sports, where we are back getting ready for football, and we have Coach Pitts here from Camdenton. The Lakers obviously joining the conference with Jefferson City and Columbia, but Coach, coming into this season here, it's fairly new to Camdenton coaching-wise anyway, or returning coaching anyway. And so what's something new this year that, returning players, starters coming back, new people coming in, what's some of the things that you're going to focus on here to rely on success for the Lakers this year?
We've had a off season through the winter, the spring, and then a great summer with our team camps and our home camps. And, our guys have just really taken on the new challenge of the next new conference. We got I think we got 4 returning starters on defense and 3.5 on offense. But our guys that really stood out this summer, Willard DeMont stood out on both sides of the ball. He's a returning defensive starter, but has done a great job on the offensive side for us as our hybrid guy that can be a running back and a receiver. Carson Durnan has transitioned to quarterback for us and has done a great job recovering. He came off ACL surgery and has really done well from the standpoint of recovering and then transitioning from receiver and defensive back to that quarterback position. Cole Lane is a returning starter on the offensive line and has really made gains in strength, size, and speed, and is kind of is our leader on the offensive line. And we have a tackle, Casey Youthy, who has had a great winter as a returning starter on the offensive side, and then defensively Sterling Cedar Wall. One of our top tacklers from last season is returning at linebacker and was looking to get some quality reps on the offensive side as well. So, we lost a bunch of good talented players last year. We're bringing back some guys with some experience, and then developmentally, Deontay Harris is going to be a good defensive back for us. Brady Mills is coming off of an injury at linebacker. Looks to be a real big contributor for us on that side of the ball as well. So, our guys are working hard, and this time of year, everything is still a bit up in the air because you're still just helmets and shoulder pads, and you're actually getting to see each other. So you really get to get the idea of the jamboree.
And Coach, speaking of the jamboree, where is that going to be, and who are your, competitors to help get the season ready?
Yeah, we're going to go to California. We probably haven't played California in anything since we were part of the Tri-County Conference back in the early 80s. But we're going to go to California. We're going to be able to play against California and Hickman. 2 quality teams. California had a great season last year, and I think they played in the quarterfinals for the district championship against Odessa. Just so happens Kenny Grubb is their coach, and we started our coaching careers together way back in the early 90s. So it's going to be kind of a reunion for us. And so Hickman has a new coach, and so they're going to be firing on all cylinders and ready to go. So it'll be a good challenge for us.
Now, part of the scheduling question is also, you mentioned the conference there, and you're not joining Tri-County, but you are joining the, I believe, Missouri Athletic Conference.
It's the CMAC.
CMAC
Central Missouri Athletic Conference, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a big challenge. To put it in context, the Ozark Conference in football had 6 state championships, and then in the new conference in CMAC, they have 37 football state championships. So we know that it's going to be competitive, and there's really storied programs there, and it's going to be one of those situations where you're going to be challenged, every week, every Friday night. So our guys have understood that challenge as we came through and are ready for it.
Yep. Now, those schools include the Columbia schools and also Jefferson City and, of course, Smith Cotton up there. But
Yes.
And now, size-wise, a lot bigger teams in that conference, though, compared to the Ozark Conference, where you had 2 6A schools. Now you're looking at least probably 3 of them this year.
Yeah, it's going to be. They're all sort of on that verge of being bigger than us. I don't know where we sit exactly with our enrollment, but it's going to be. We definitely won't be in the upper half of the conference.
And then also, you talk about storied programs, Jefferson City Jays, the 80s and 90s, they were the team to beat. And then a new program out of Jeff City, Capital City, not a very old high school compared to many of the schools around here. But, in the last few years, including last year, they've had some success in the playoffs.
Yeah, they actually beat us in the district semis last year. Cap City did, and they returned some really, really good players from that team. And, big, physical, strong, play really, really hard. So we know they're going to be an outstanding team as well. And we opened up with Jeff City in week 1. We've only played them once, and that was we played them in 21 and beat them on the last second touchdown pass. So we know that it's going to be tough every Friday.
Yep. Now, the other, big thing about losing some of the rivalries locally here, you're losing some of the Rolla, Waynesville, Lebanon rivalries going on there that, for many years, these 4 teams here, we watched each other through the years. And
yeah, you get that familiarity playing each other every year. It's almost like you could call plays for the other team because you're just so familiar with what guys are doing, and actually, you see those guys playing from 7th grade on up, and so you get an idea of what each program is about because you're playing them, at every level every year. So we're going to miss that part of it for sure.
But Coach, good luck this season as you join the new conference there, and we'll be keeping track of you, trying to keep talk to you every week there, see how things are going.
I appreciate it.
Yep. And that was Coach Pitts from Camdenton. You can catch all their games on Lake TV as well as other sources, including, I believe, the Career Center there in Camdenton also streams them, along with several radio stations. But this is just our first football preview that we've had. We've got plenty more coming. You could also catch postseason coverage of the games on Missouri Sports Network. Scoreboard Guy Newcomb every Friday, I believe about 9 o'clock, 8:39. He starts up and he'll go through the scores so you can listen, keep track of what's going on, listen to coaches around the state. We'll have some more interviews of my own. We'll have some of his interviews coming up also. Once again, thank you here, and Jamboree's going to get ready to go.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network. And other conferences have changed as well. You look at the Big 8 as teams there have left that conference and headed to, and in some cases, the Mid-Lakes Conference, Springfield Catholic, Reed Spring, Hollister all move into the Mid-Lakes Conference. And then Logan, Rogersville, and Marshfield leave, and they go to the newly formed Ozark Mountain Conference. But the Big 8, some of the original members still there, obviously, with the likes of Mount Vernon, Aurora, Seneca, Lamar, East Newton, all still members of that Big 8 conference. And Allen, tell us a little bit about the Big 8 conference.
Well, it is another one of those strong, smaller football conferences here. Mount Vernon, of course, Seneca, Monette, Lamar, multi-time state champion out of that. But just the numbers of that conference are what is amazing. It ranges from 400 for East Newton to 1,119 for McDonald County. So just a wide range from Class 2 all the way to Class 4 in football.
And you look at some of those rivalries there, and they've kept those intact with the Mount Vernon and Aurora, one of the oldest rivalries in the state outside of maybe Kirkwood, Webster Groves. A very old rivalry there with Mount Vernon and Aurora. You got Lamar, Seneca. You've got Monette and Cassville. Those are probably the 3 biggest rivalries in that conference. Of course, with Nevada kind of being one of the newer members along with McDonald County, they've they've struggled to develop their rivalries as well, but with Logan Rogersville, Marshfield, and Springfield Catholic, Hollister, and Reach Spring all gone out of that conference, they've kind of got back down to that original Big 8 conference. And again, thanks for that plug on the Missouri Sports Network, the high school football scoreboard show. It does begin on August the 30th. We run from 9:30 to 11, and you can sign up on YouTube, go and subscribe to our YouTube page, or go like us on Facebook. And every time there's something live that's coming out, just like this one, will be going out here today, and you will see that pop up. But Alan, any thoughts here as we kind of wrap this up?
I just think we're going to have a pretty good football season this year. First game, I'll be at Waynesville and Carthage. Got to make sure I get the Tigers right. And then my first broadcast will be in Republic. So I have not been there, but I heard it is a very nice football facility.
It is one of the top football facilities in the entire state of Missouri. Republic defending Class 5 runner-up a year ago as they lost to Cardinal Ritter in the state championship game. We've got interviews. If you go to the Missouri Sports Network on YouTube, there are interviews with Ryan Cornelson, who is the head football coach there at Republic, also with John Perry at Nixa. We've talked with Hannibal head coach Jeff Geschwender. We talked with CBC head football coach Scott Pringle, and many others across the state of Missouri, and there'll be many more added to those. But Allen Hilliard from Allen Hilliard Sports, kind enough to join us. Allen, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Oh, not a problem. I appreciate it being on here.
You bet. You're watching and listening to the Missouri Sports Network, presented by Lyona Labor's Local 663, Building, Missouri. Also presented by the Bank of Billings, the oldest bank in Christian County, established in 1889, and Doak Propane in Bolivar, Missouri, surrounding for your propane needs. See the folks at Doak Propane in Polk County and surrounding counties. Hey, we're going to step away. We'll be back later on today with much more to come here on the Missouri Sports Network. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe.